he didn't see me do it. That meant I got away with it. So I was like, yes. And my brother's like, he did it. Shadrach. So my dad didn't even ask me what I did. He just looked at the rearview mirror and he goes, I don't even care what you did. Don't you ever, ever, ever do it again. And I know most of you people here today don't know me at all, but I promise you from my heart that I wasn't gonna do it again, but a Billy Ray Cyrus song came on right then. Yeah. I think even on Judgment Day, God's gonna go, yeah, I totally understand you disobeying your dad on that one. So I had to do it again, so I pulled out the rubber sticky hand thing. I didn't even know if it would work twice in a row, but all of a sudden I was just like that. Guys, it was almost like in slow motion. That hand was going straight between my mom and my dad and right back to channel number 2. I was like, it's gonna happen again. It didn't happen again, by the way, though, because as the hand got right between my mom and my dad went around a curve really quick. Yeah. So the hand goes, yeah, boom, and caught my dad full across the face. Here's the worst part about that. My dad didn't know I had this hand thing. So all he knows is a big gooey hand has reached out of the seat and grabbed him. Which you can probably think would really freak you out because if you already thought Satan was in your radio. So he starts screaming, a demon's got me, a demon's got me. So he grabs a hand, he throws it up against the windshield, it splats up huge. He's like, oh my gosh. So he rolls down the window, grabs it, throws it out. I scare him even more by going, my hand! I'm thinking it's as bad as it's ever gonna get. All of a sudden my brother turns around and he goes, that is so cool, that landed right in the center of that cop's windshield. So guys, that was me when I was a kid. And I want to wrap this up by just saying I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I just knew I ended up in these weird situations and all these things were happening. And finally, okay, hey, hang on. Before I do this, we have a lost child. And the person who wrote it evidently wrote with their left foot. Dakota is in the first aid tent. Yeah, Dakota. Is that the last name? Savita is the mother's name. Okay, here we go. Dakota is in the first aid tent. So Savita, if you have a kid named Dakota, go to the first aid tent. If not, don't. Go there. Hey, I'm going to tell this really quick, but this is part of my testimony. But I remember, like, my grandmother told me to read the Bible when I was young because you got to have God's Word in you. Plus, it made her mad that young people never read the Bible and elderly people read the Bible like crazy, you know, like they're trying to cram for a final. So she told me to read the Bible, and I read Romans 12, 6-8, and it talked about how we had individual talents, and that really changed my life. Like, it made me just want to do something for God and make me use my talents that God had given me to glorify Him. And this just happened one time, and it just made me decide to do stand-up comedy for the Lord. I was sitting next to this lady who was just bawling her eyes out, and I didn't know her, and I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I wanted to use my crazy attitude to make her laugh. And back then I only had 2 talents. One, I could do an M with my eyebrows, pushing them together, and the other talent I had was I could play Amazing Grace with my armpit. Yeah, but I didn't know if she was a Christian, so I didn't want to force that on her. So I decided to use the M thing, and she was just crying like crazy. And so I looked at her and I go, today my eyebrows will be brought to you by the letter M. And I did it. And guys, it was the first time that I used this crazy little mentality that God had given me to try to bring joy to people's lives. And it was amazing. This lady who was crying her eyes out started cackling and laughing, and God had filled her soul with joy. She was just like, guys, it was awesome. The rest of the people at the funeral did not appreciate it. I didn't even care, though, because I had used my talents to glorify God. I didn't even care. Everybody else was quiet. Even the guy who was talking just stopped and looked at me, and then it was quiet, and I didn't know what to do. But then I was like, oh, it's a funeral, so I played Amazing Grace. But here's the point. God has given you guys individual talents, and we need to use those talents that God has given us to bring joy to people's lives. And a lot of us out here today, one of the talents He's given us is that we're able to hold down a good job. And so when we got here together at this festival yesterday, we were praying about trying to save lives through Compassion International. We've saved 19. But as I look out here, there's between 15,000 to 20,000 people here. And we just want to encourage you guys, maybe God is calling you to use the fact that you have a talent to hold down a job, that you can give up $32 a month to save the life of a child, but also to get the message of Jesus Christ to that child. And that's what Compassion International does. And so we just want to encourage you guys. I don't know where you're at spiritually, but if you're looking to make a difference, if you're looking to truly use your talent to glorify God, like it talks about in Romans 12, I would encourage you guys to go back to that Compassion International tent and look at there's about 300 children out there that need help. And we as a body of believers need to help this world. And you guys can go back there. They also have a free CD, a free t-shirt they're going to give you, but it's all the way in the back. We want to encourage you guys to do that. But right now I'm going to bring up a good friend of mine. I've known this guy for about 4 years. And if you truly knew Paul Wright like I do, every once in a while you meet a guy that just encourages you to be a better person and a stronger Christian. And I think if you knew him, he would tell you that I'm that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Eugene, Oregon, please welcome my good friend, Mr. Paul Wright.
Well, I'm tired of falling on my face low. Get up, tell myself